attacks. Dragonite can Terra Blast into it as well. We're just going to get right into the game, and it's going to be Incineroar, Amoonguss, and King Gambit here gets the Defiant boost.
Oh boy, King Gambit would love to receive one of those. It's going to be a +1 now, and it also is going to be threatening a low kick into this Incineroar.
Yeah, so no mouse hold in this one. There is the threat, of course, of Fake Out plus Spore immediately into the King Gambit slot. This is an Assault Vest King Gambit. It cannot protect right now, and so relatively safe to double into that, but if you're Paul, what you can do is just pivot the King Gambit out, of course, into the Incineroar and the Amoonguss. And so Nicholas decides, I'd rather just split my damage. However, this now puts him at risk of taking a ton of damage from this boosted King Gambit.
But because this Dragonite is multi-scale, it is going to get faked out on this turn, and it's also going to break the multi-scale thanks to that fake out damage.
Is there a flinch here? It's going to be Iron Head on turn 1. No flinch critically, so Spore does go off into King Gambit. That'll be put to sleep now. Like you said, Rosemary, able to intimidate and flinch the Dragonite and break the multi-scale. Now Amoonguss can switch out, and our Chaladon, I think, is the key piece in this game. So Nicholas now willing to bring it out onto the field.
I love that the Incineroar has this opportunity to be able to pivot as well. You've got the parting shot. You can also go on the offense here. We've seen just how much damage this Incineroar can do with Flare Blitz or Knockoff. Knowing that the rain is not present, there's really no way right now to stop this damage.
Absolutely. King Gambit still will be a threat, of course, once it wakes up. So the question is, can Nicholas knock it out before it manages to wake up? Dragonite goes for the Protect here, so Paul's saying, you know what? I just want to burn a turn of sleep here. And critically, we saw that the Incineroar targeted Dragonite. There was no Flare Blitz into the King Gambit, but our Chaladon has now hit the field. It threatens both of these Pokemon with super effective damage.
This King Gambit is that Dark Terra too, so even if it's going to be able to get rid of that Steel typing, it is still going to take that super effective damage. Taking its mandatory turn of sleep, so it has the potential to actually wake up on this turn, but neither of these Pokemon, the Dragonite nor the King Gambit, want to hit this Archaladon and start setting off stamina boosts.
Yeah, exactly. And you still have to face down all the offense from the opposing side as well. So it's just a low kick, no switches here, no Terra. So this is going to be a very super effective body press, but King Gambit bulky enough to survive. It doesn't wake up right now. We'll have to see after the parting shot.
Now the parting shot going to drop this Dragonite's attack again, so now it's going to be at -2 thanks to the parting shot plus the Intimidate at the very beginning of this game. And Nicholas gets a chance to bring in the Amoonguss again, or we can even see that there actually is a way to really start to get this engine on the Archaladon up and running. Amoonguss, though, going to be the Pokemon of choice for now.
Okay, and King Gambit stays asleep critically, so that's absolutely huge. It got the attack boost earlier, but now you'll just faint to another body press. Body press plus Spore, really safe into that slot. Covers for switch out options as well. King Gambit, of course, cannot go for a Protect, right? Now, you could Spore into the Dragonite if you want to cover for a switch out option on that side, right? Dragonite's attack is now greatly decreased, and so a lot of different options right now on Nicholas's end. You could even go for a, say, switching into Pelipper and Electro Shot instead, but looks like Amoonguss is just content to switch out right now. So Paul's going to continue to stay in with this Pokemon.
May as well at this point, but now you're going to be at -3. And King Gambit gets a Defiant boost, but you're just one of the slowest things on the field. Even when you take a look at this Archaladon, you get a chance to knock it out with the body press, but we are going to see a Terra committed. And it should end up being that Dragonite that gets that Terra flying again and even be able to go for some damage here.
Terra flying, though, means that you are very vulnerable to Electro Shot in subsequent turns, right? So this Dragonite's damage output has been so greatly reduced. King Gambit does wake up, though, and it gets that Sucker Punch off. That is a ton of damage onto the Archaladon. That's the risk of switching an Incineroar. You don't have to care about speed when you have priorities. So critical wake up there to damage something that's so scary otherwise. Terra Blast, though, not going to do that much damage into Incineroar, and Body Press will finish off King Gambit.
But now Paul gets a chance to switch in something that's going to potentially finish the job here on the Archaladon. The King Gambit got even more than what it could have asked for out of those first couple of turns despite taking a nap.
Yeah, and Garchomp, the perfect Pokemon to bring out here. You apply pressure with that Earthquake, of course. So Incineroar here at least is able to go for a Fake Out this turn. I think one thing that a lot of players have been doing with Incineroar this tournament, and just with this Pokemon in general, is not going for Fake Out, just saying Fake Out's so obvious. And so yeah, even though our Chaladon's at such low HP, still willing to go for the Dragon Pulse here. If Amoonguss can somehow get a Pollen Puff onto our Chaladon, that would be absolutely huge. You right now have to, of course, worry though about something like Dragon Claw plus Terra Blast into the Archaladon, or Stomping Tantrum Tantrum into Terra Blast. Now, Dragonite's attack has been so greatly reduced that maybe that doesn't even get the knockout, but let's see.
I mean, this is going to be an Archaludon that has started to take some stamina boost, so it could actually get enough defenses online to withstand both of those attacks. Especially with the Terastallization here, you are going to remove your weakness to something like that Stomping Tantrum, but conversely, as you said, that Terra Blast now looking mighty juicy here. It is an Earthquake, though, so even before this Dragonite gets a chance to move, it's going to be giving over another stamina boost to this Archaludon.
Yeah, Archaludon is getting dangerously low, though. Hasn't gotten a ton of boost yet. There's Dragon Pulse, doesn't knock out the Garchomp. It does just get the one-hit KO, so what's huge for Nicholas right now is that Paul is down to his final 2 Pokemon. You would think Ninetales is in the back, but if it's Ninetales, well, Pelipper can just switch in now, of course, and change the weather. Here's Terra Blast onto the Archaludon, and it does not get the knockout either.
That Archaludon is now just going to start running away with things. This Dragonite is slower. Maybe you're able to do something like an extreme speed, but even then, you can actually... I don't know. This is tough. It's just the Ninetales.
Yeah, I think extreme speed plus freeze dry right now is pretty safe, and so if you're Nicholas, you can potentially counter that by obviously making some switches, right? The key thing here is Incineroar, I think, is really, really good in this endgame. Now, Terra was committed, but I think that was absolutely necessary to survive the turn. Looks like Nicholas here actually willing to just attack with both Pokemon, saying, I'm confident in winning the game with my Incineroar and my Pelipper. Amoonguss hangs on with 7 HP. He'll back up, but it will be eating, presumably, a Terra Blast. No switches, though.
No switches, but I mean, at this point as well, like, this poor Dragonite is still at -3, and because there's no more Pokemon left for Paul, there's no way to actually get rid of all of those drops. So Amoonguss does actually get felled here, but you bring Incineroar back in, Dragonite has to eat another Intimidate and a Fake Out. Yeah,
this is going to be really close, though, because the Ninetales has Freeze Dry, right? So you can just double up onto the Pelipper for a KO. Oh man, this is really intense. The damage output, obviously, of Flare Blitz is also going to be reduced because you've set up the rain, right? So this turn, you have Fake Out pressure. If you're Paul, you could theoretically double protect both Pokemon. I think Ninetales is actually the big threat right now, right? So you see the Fake Out target into that slot. Pelipper actually trying to just go for the safe Tailwind. No protect on either slot. And Fake Out does do really meaningful damage here. So Ninetales will protect. Pelipper will set up the Tailwind, but Dragonite free to just launch another attack, but its attack status drops so low right now.
It's at -4, but Terra Blast is still going to be able to do even just a little bit. Like, Incineroar almost goes down there and at least puts it in range of being able to get knocked out in this next turn.
Yeah. Ninetales here now, of course, has Freeze Dry to bring Pelipper down to Focus Sash. I would think that it just knocks out the Incineroar, so one of the things I'm curious about is how fast is this Incineroar under Tailwind? Also, can Incineroar survive an extreme speed from the opposing side at this point? You need to knock out the Ninetales. The Ninetales exerts so much pressure onto the Pelipper. If you somehow knock out the Ninetales and Pelipper hasn't taken damage, that's huge. Dragonite goes for the Protect this turn. We saw what Nicholas went for. The Weather Ball into the Protect.
That is huge because that's going to be a Dragonite that sticks around, and this Freeze Dry to fire back. This Pelipper goes down to its Focus Sash, and that's just going to be extreme speed range now for at least the Pelipper, and it gets frozen in the process.
Yeah, I think this turn was just a guessing game, right? As we see knockoff double up into a Dragonite. What Nicholas was predicting was for the Ninetales to protect this turn. The idea is then let me just get damage into the Dragonite. But there was the opportunity, of course, to go for the Weather Ball. Now you can just extreme speed Freeze Dry and the game is just over.
Oh, extreme speed into the Pelipper. It is so sad to see that Pelipper frozen in place in the face of this powerful Dragonite and Ninetales and the Freeze Dry. This Incineroar is also felled, and Paul Chua takes game number 1 of this finals.
The King Gambit waking up was so... You're going into a team that's primarily physical as well, right? And so I think Archaludon basically just needs to be better protected. And here we are. We're just going to go right into game 2. Dragonite and Garchomp this time around. And Maushold has hit the field.
Ooh, the Maushold on the field, and there's no redirection available. There is a Rage Powder for the Amoonguss that maybe could have been able to be a wrench in these plans, but Maushold Archaludon, it is here, but it is under threat. There's 2 things on Paul's side that can hit it super effectively.
Do we just see the side population bomb get those defense boosts? It looks like Nicholas is going for it. This is so safe to go for right now. This will boost Archaludon's defense so quickly, and we are down. This is exactly what I wanted to see. Then, it's risky going for this lead because you got to be scared about King Gambit Dragonite coming out once again, but Paul tries to adjust, and actually I think Nicholas gets the better end of this, and here we go. Self-population bomb. Boom, number 1.
Let's see how many times this population bomb can hit. That's going to be a second one, a second stamina boost. And let's see if we can keep them coming. There's number 3.
You can hear the crowd cheer the number right now.
4.
Give me a 4. Do I have a 5? 5?
Come on,
Anyone in the
show us
crowd?
5. Let's see, can we make it a maximum? Let's go 6. There's the 6th stamina boost.
Okay, now miss. Now miss.
Now
we don't need anymore. Okay, no.
That's too many now.
We're speeding things up a little bit,
okay.
you know, and each consecutive hit just does less damage once you hit that.
It's max hits there. It's going to be 10 times. Mousehold, you got a little bit too good eyes on you right now.
How much does this do? Let's see. Oh, yeah, not very much.
So little with that +6 stamina boost here. And even with the Terra Blast, like, I think you're able to finish the job there on the Mousehold, but it goes into this Archaludon anyway. Such a sad amount of damage as the Dragon Pulse. We saw it's going to finish off this Garchomp. Oh, but it doesn't actually this time around.
Okay, big survival.
Roll, game 1.
Yeah, exactly. So big survival there. You do have the population bomb threat here, so of course, if you're Paul, you can extreme speed, finish off Mousehold, and Stomping Tantrum into the Archaludon, but then there's the free switch in into, say, the Amoonguss. So the Archaludon is boosted up now, but the question is, can you get a Pollen Puff onto it? I think that's really critical. Let's see how much this Earthquake does. It actually opts for Earthquake rather than Stomping, which would cover for a switch out. Decent damage, but that was 34 damage, and so Archaludon's still sitting just quite nicely. Garchomp critically will faint, so that gives Palchua a free switch in. Here's the +6 body press, but it is into a multi-skill Dragonite. That does 20%.
Yeah, it's, you know, think about the multi-skill now being removed. It would maybe do a little bit more, but as the Amoonguss comes back in, it's going to have the opportunity to redirect away attacks. It's got Rage Powder. There's also the Amoonguss on the other side, but because we haven't seen that Terra yet onto the Archaludon, how do you remove these boosts?
Oh, this is really interesting. So Amoonguss from Paul's end means that, yes, you can Grass Terra, and that'll make you immune to Spore, but Paul has the Clear Smog. If you get rid of your typing, you will be able to get hit by Clear Smog. Nicholas critically also did not bring the Pelipper into this matchup, so you can't just switch in Pelipper and go for the Electro Shot. His strategy in this game is fully centered around the Archaludon, which I think makes a lot of sense. But the question is, where do you go from here? You can't get put to sleep, but the upside is Paul at least doesn't have that much offensive pressure with this current duo.
Intimidate now onto the Dragonite, so you're not only contending with a +6 Archaludon, but you're also contending with a -1 Dragonite into the mix. But it goes for a Protect, so as Archaludon would have loved to be able to hit the body press into the Dragonite, it's not going to be able to do that. And this Amoonguss does get a chance to put this Archaludon to sleep, buying Paul very valuable time.
Yeah, that was a turn where Amoonguss could have stayed in and maybe gone for Pollen Puff, but of course Nicholas may be a little bit afraid of eating up the super effective Terra Blast from the opposing side, just wants to get an Intimidate off into Dragonite. So a big question now is, what is Paul's final Pokemon? Amoonguss is switching out. If this is a Alolan Ninetales, Blizzard will be very effective here. That is Ninetales hitting the field. That's exactly what you need if your Paul is your final Pokemon. Now we're down to a game of, does Archaludon wake up quickly enough? Terra Blast coming out, just slowly chipping away at the Archaludon. You just need every little bit of damage you can get, even if it's only 8 HP.
It's every little bit will start to stack up here as Archaludon takes its mandatory turn to sleep, but with the Flare Blitz into the Alolan Ninetales, it actually does get brought down to its sash. That defense boost not helping it out this time around.
Oh, that is a great Flare Blitz, certainly, because it prevents the Ninetales from, you know, hanging on with a little bit more. This turn is so critical, the route, because you can just double up onto the Archaludon right now. You could go for a Freeze Dry. So yeah, do you ever consider just switching out the Archaludon? It feels so bad to get rid of those boosts. Incineroar, at least right now, does exert a lot of offensive pressure, but can Incineroar plus Amoonguss win the game? It's actually Blizzard instead of Freeze Dry, so I think Archaludon will be able to survive the turn, and it wakes up! It's gonna be the body press into the Dragonite. Still not enough to get the knockout, though.
Starting to whittle away at it as the low kick into the Archaludon
is so light, it's super effective, but that doesn't matter. Knockoff comes out and knocks out the Ninetales.
The Ninetales has tried so hard, but Paul in the second game is already down to this Dragonite and this Amoonguss, and there's Archaludon. It has still yet to be taken out of this game. Amoonguss is at full HP, so that definitely feels nice to have to bring in here, but you have this opportunity to just double into it with this Archaludon and Incineroar and take it out.
Oh, and the Dragonite protects! attacks. We know where Nicholas is targeting. So this, folks, I believe will go to a game 3. +6 body press into Amoonguss. It's not doing that much damage, but that's okay. The whole point of this Archaludon is to survive the physical attacks. Flare Blitz knocks out the Amoonguss, and with 15 HP and a dream, Archaludon will keep Nicholas's hopes of winning this tournament alive. The Mousehold Archaludon Gambit works in this one. I said 15 HP. It's a little bit less than that. It's 12, but it doesn't matter. Every little bit of HP matters on this Pokemon.
It really does. Even just in case you had the Terra Ghost to try to get around in extreme speed.
Nicholas is probably thinking, well, Paul's definitely going to counter for this lead, so maybe I don't lead it this time around.
That is certainly a possibility, but only one way to find out as we enter into this third and final game.
Again.
It's just a run back of this second game.
Ooh, okay, folks, let's see. Let's see. Paul might be thinking, you know what, that last game was so close. If I just got one better attack off into your Archaludon, I would have been fine. But I think, once again, this lead favors Nicholas. 1-1 right now. It all comes down to this game. It's Incineroar Amoonguss once again confirmed in the back. Ooh, okay.
Very interesting. Do you just go pop bomb something else?
Yeah, so the idea is let me just try to pick up a knockout maybe onto the Dragonite immediately. Now, this is rough skin Garchomp, right? So you got to be a little bit careful here. But I think Nicholas here saying, well, I don't know. I just don't feel that great about taking all this damage once again with Archaludon. Why don't I just go on the offensive? You have 2 physical attackers out against me right now. So let's see. Archaludon switches out. This is going to be the Intimidate. So then the question is, does Dragonite go for a Protect right now? Or does it just eat up Population Bomb?
Oh my goodness. Well, the Intimidate has to come out first before you get a chance to see whether or not this Dragonite does actually go for the Protect. And it's actually just a Terra. That's the Terra first to see if this Dragonite maybe is going to actually go out on the offensive here.
Yeah, can it take Population Bomb from Mousehold, though? I really would not expect it to, but let's see.
Well, the Mousehold is sometimes the little family that could, and it's going to be going after each of these hits.
Whoa.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Does it miss? 10 hits! What a start for Nicholas! He knocks out Paul Chua's Dragonite in one hit. Paul now no longer has Terra to play with and is down such a key piece in this matchup. Garchomp here will be able to get the Earthquake off. It's Life Orb, but it is intimidated. It's gonna be a lot of damage, though, still coming out on both Pokemon. But what a start for Nicholas. There's not many Pokemon that are faster than Mousehold in this format right now, so it's very safe for you to be able to just keep wailing away at these Pokemon with this Mousehold. You see the Ninetales come in, but there's an opportunity here to actually go for Fake Out, but Nicholas also has so many other options knowing that this Archaludon is still safe in the back.
This game is not over by any means, though. Mousehold will start this turn off with the Protect. Incineroar, of course, have the ability to click Fake Out. Does not go for a Fake Out. Fake Out Population Bomb here would have been an absolutely huge play, but of course, Nicholas expecting Paul to maybe just protect both of his Pokemon. Oh. Freeze comes out onto the Incineroar. Does that matter, though? Is it just a Dragon Claw or stomping into that slot? It is. Incineroar will faint now.
Still a roller coaster of emotions, though, as we follow through the turns of this game number 3. So much has already happened, and it's only been a couple of turns.
All right, now you've got the Archaludon to come out. You could bring out Amoonguss. If you bring out the Amoonguss, you could, of course, go for a Spore, but Archaludon now has hit the field. Nicholas had such a strong start to this game, but it's not over yet.
There's still an opportunity to go for the Terra, and yes, you're making yourself a little bit more vulnerable, though, to this Ninetale. So I wonder if you still stay the course, make sure that you can actually utilize this Assault Vest. There's no Incineroar yet from Paul, so there's not actually a way to knock it off this Assault Vest, but we do see a switch here from the Garchomp.
Okay, Amoonguss is a great Pokemon to switch into to take that Dragon Pulse. We saw what Mousehold locked into. Here it is! Population Bomb number 1.
2.
Number 2.
3.
It's doing so
4,
much damage!
5.
This family of 3, can it do it? Another one, another one! Give me 2 more! Oh my goodness!
This Mousehold has taken 2 KOs by itself!
Mousehold putting on a clinic right now. That's Dragon Pulse into the Amoonguss. That's so much damage. This Amoonguss does not have Protect. It does not have Rocky Helmet. Mousehold that's outspeeding the entire team. It can just Population Bomb into the Amoonguss, Dragon Pulse into the Garchomp. You go for the Terra here, doubling up here just to cover for Population Bomb missing. Your accuracy is so high, 99% per hit with Population Bomb, and Nicholas Morales takes it. He